I have this burning question. Does warm water vapor have its own gravity field? Let's find out. So one day I decided to put two buckets on a turntable. One would have warm water in it, and one would have ice water in it. Many of the things I've been seeing suggests that there might be some sort of field effect. And if that's the case, then this field would or should go through the plastic lid, as you see there. Plastic lid serves to prevent the escape of water vapor and also prevents the condensation of water vapor on the metal plate, which is a 1/4 inch thick piece of aluminum weighing approximately 200 grams. So it's now tared out to 0. And I will slowly begin to rotate. So as you can see, as the bucket with the warm water goes underneath, the reading on the balance is up to now 5 milligrams. And then as it passes, and interestingly, it actually goes negative. -3, -4, and so on. What's also interesting too is as the bucket with the cold pack in it, or the icy water, passes by, it also goes positive. So both the warm bucket and the cold bucket influence the metal plate, apparently making it a little bit heavier, as if it's being attracted downwards. I thought about why or how this could be, and what I reasoned is that because of the cold water vapor inside that bucket, that water vapor from the air would be condensing in that region. So in effect, there would be a higher concentration of water vapor inside even the cold bucket, which also is at odds with the idea that water vapor would be condensing on the metal plate, because the metal plate would be much more warmer than the cold surface of the water beneath it. As you can see here, the results are pretty repeatable. 6-7 milligrams on the balance, except for that accidental brushing there. Because when I shook the bucket, the water vapor escaped and made a slight positive pressure, bulging out the lid. So there's a higher concentration of water vapor now, as you can, well, you can't really see in the video, but there is a slight bulge on the lid indicating an increased vapor pressure, which should result in a little bit higher of a reading on the balance. So the attractive force is a little bit higher, as you can see, goes up to 10 milligrams. There was the peak. And a spike negative as it passes. That I'm not sure about. I don't have an explanation for that at the moment. Conventionally, it appears that there could be some updrafts from air rising around the sides of the bucket. But it's more difficult to explain the slight downward force over top. These contemplations can get pretty deep, maybe too deep for some of us to bother trying to understand. The concept of a circulating toroid of spatial flux, or if space can circulate kind of like a donut, so that what is on top is sort of pulled downwards and what is outside like on the sides of the bucket, is kind of lifted up by this circulation or this current of ether. So it's my hypothesis that the increased water vapor or humidity has a slight attractive force. In other words, it tends to pull matter or materials inward toward itself. This, I believe, is a spatial effect, which I think has also been responsible for the lifting or the slight decrease in weight in other experiments over the surface of the water. So following this little test, what I'm going to do is put a sealable plastic container around the metal plate to rule out any air currents from the outside that might be suspect of causing this effect. So we'll see that in a moment. So here what I did is suspend the plate inside this plastic container, as so. And you can see there's still a comparable reading on the balance saying 11 milligrams. So there's still some sort of a force coming through the plastic barriers. And obviously that can't be attributed to air currents from outside. So I'm just going to wait for this to go back to 0. Like so. Now on to the next little demo here. So now the plate is hung vertically. And it's hung over a plastic bowl with a little bit of water at the bottom, and then another styrene plastic plate placed over top of the water. And so the purpose of that is to reduce the amount of steam or vapor leaving, basically to keep it contained. So now I'm just warming it with a heat lamp. So I just want to emphasize here that if this were on a balance, you'd be seeing a weight loss right now. And now I will bring the bowl up close to the plate to see if there's any influence on it, and sure enough, about a 4 milligram influence downwards, as if the plate is being slightly pulled downwards. by some mysterious force. There, it goes back to 0. Looks like the temperature there is about 78, 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. So all that is just a little bit of water at the bottom. Nothing special. And yet it is, because none of these effects should be happening, even though they're small. I believe it warrants further investigation, so feel free to let me know in the comments if you have any ideas on further experimentation. Thanks a lot.